Henry, Cora, and Bonnie. This book is called When I Was Young in the Mountains, and the author is Cynthia Rylant, and that is the same author who writes the Mr. Putter and Tabby series. So I just thought it's interesting how one author with a different illustrator can have her books look so different. So this is not about Mr. Putter and Tabby, but it's written by the same person who writes about them. When I Was Young in the Mountains by Cynthia Rylant. When I was young in the mountains, Grandfather came home in the evening covered with the black dust of a coal mine. Only his lips were clean, and he used them to kiss the top of my head. When I was young in the mountains, Grandmother spread the table with hot cornbread, pinto beans, and fried okra. Later, in the middle of the night, she walked through the grass with me to the Johnny house and held my hand in the dark. I promised never to eat more than one serving of okra again. I guess the okra. The Johnny house is also known as an outhouse. That's where people would go to the bathroom when they didn't have bathrooms inside their house. I think the okra made her feel sick. Because look, she says she promised never to eat okra again. She looks like she might be feeling a little sick. When I was young in the mountains, we walked across cow pastures and through the woods carrying our towels. The swimming hole was dark and muddy, and we sometimes saw snakes, but we jumped in anyway. On our way home, we stopped at Mr. Crawford's for a mound of white butter. Mr. Crawford and Mrs. Crawford looked alike, and they always smelled of sweet milk. When I was young in the mountains, we pumped pails full of water at the well at the bottom of the hill, and we heated the water to fill round tin tubs for our baths. They didn't get their water out of a faucet, did they? They had to go down the hill and pump the pump. Afterward, we stood in front of the old black stove, giggling, while Grandma heated cocoa on top. This is where they took their baths. They brought that water up and heated it up, and they sat in these tin tubs for a bath. And afterwards, they were nice and warm. When I was young in the mountains, we went to church in the schoolhouse on Sundays. And sometimes we walked with the congregation through the cow pasture to the dark swimming hole for baptisms. My cousin Peter was laid back into the water, and his white shirt stuck to him, and my grandmother cried. When I was young in the mountains, we listened to frogs sing and at dusk and awoke to cowbells outside our windows. Sometimes a black snake came in the yard, and my grandmother would threaten it with a hoe. Oh my gosh, that's a huge snake. She looks like she means business. If I did not leave, she used the, if it did not leave, the snake, she used the hoe to kill it. 4 of us once draped a very long snake, dead of course, across our necks for a photograph. When I was young in the mountains, we sat on the porch swing in the evenings And grandfather sharpened pencils with his pocket knife. Grandmother sometimes shelled beans and sometimes braided my hair. The dogs lay around us, and the stars speckled in the sky. A bob white whistled in the forest. Bob, bob, bob white. A bob white is a kind of bird. I don't think I've ever heard one yet. When I was young in the mountains, I never wanted to go to the ocean. And I never wanted to go to the desert. I never wanted to go anywhere else in the world, for I was in the mountains, and that was enough. I think that's a story about how it is nice to feel pretty good about right where you live and everything around you. It's enough. Love you.